Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Nicolas. I waved to you behind, and you're looking at
Good
everybody in the
afternoon.
audience here in the room. So our short panel is talking about financing climate and water action solutions and the impact that might have on consumption and production and all that. So when we talk about a panel on climate and water action, me with my rather technical hat on, I think about the obvious examples of offshore wind, carbon capture technologies, restoring mangroves on coastal regions to protect the coast, or protecting our water sources, whether they be freshwater or marine ecosystems and things like that. So, Nicolas, you are head of client portfolio management at Condriam, and when you hear what I think about it, I'd like to know, Condriam, what do you think about these topics? What are these investment themes? How do you choose your investment themes in this area?
Again, good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, mankind, the human race is facing many challenges, but if we focus on the big challenges in front of our planet, we may think about three, let's say, major crime of humanity. It's the overexploitation of resources, waste management, overproduction of waste, and CO2 emissions. And we have defined and designed investment strategies around solutions that could help in this regarding these big issues. And the good news is that there are many companies now that do provide, let's say, solutions at the commercial stage, solutions against these main issues.
Okay, and how and why have you decided to look at these themes? You know, what are the main drivers that help you integrate these themes into your investment portfolio management?
Well, it can be interesting from several point of view. I think that the first one, and maybe the main one for an investor, is that it can give a meaning to his investments. It can give a sense, and he knows what his money is doing actually, and the impact it could have. The second aspect or second advantage of this is that you take some benefit from the mega trends. I mean, from an investment management point of view, it's really interesting because these trends are secular. You know, they will continue. You know, they are massive, and you know that they'll reshape the society and reshape the economy. And the third aspect is related to the first one. It's about impact, having an impact on society, and it's been shown in recent history that sustainable investments really can help in a big change in our society. It can help in many aspects actually, and the main one being today the one we discussed is climate, water, and let's say protection of our planet.
So I quite agree with you on this impact question and the societal impact and how this is recently really come quite significantly to the fore. So can you talk a little bit more on Condriam, on your approach to societal impact and how you handle that and how you onboard the concepts of impact more generally?
Sure. If we could move to slide number 2. I don't know if it's possible to show slide number 2 of my presentation, but you will see that there are many companies that have again solutions at a commercial stage with measurable impact, and these companies are already part of the solution, but there are all the other ones, and all the other ones can be influenced. We really practice what we call the proxy voting. We are kind of active shareholders, and either alone, either in a consortium, either with other asset managers. We really participate in the general assemblies of the companies, and we try to influence as much as we can the decisions they take. And we observe, especially over the recent years, we observe a change in the governance of many companies, especially regarding these three major challenges. Again, I will repeat them. It's the overexploitation of the resources, kind of overshoot, the waste management, and the CO2 emissions. And there's another way of impacting the society is simply being consistent with our views and with our convictions. And uh, that means that we have to reduce our own carbon footprint, our own water footprint. And we do observe that our investment portfolios have a much smaller carbon footprint and water footprint, for instance, than broad markets. That means that our exclusion filters and our screenings and analysis tools are quite efficient from this perspective.
Okay, that's quite good. But I know, I believe you're working on other things as well. There are other investment themes that you're focused on.
Uh, yeah, exactly. And if we move to slide number 3, we really can stay on this. We recently launched several strategy really focusing on protection of our planet. We 2 years ago we launched a strategy that is really fighting against the CO2 emissions. Well, either through, let's say, a mitigation of CO2 emissions, meaning having a solution for a better isolation of your house, for instance, but also in solutions that helps in the let's say adaptation towards this climate change, or the let's say the CO2 emissions that are already there. What do we do with this, or what do we do with the waste? How do we recycle? Well, we try to find companies that are operating in these solutions. There is a second and more recent strategy that we launched. It's really a strategy investing in a, let's say, more circular economy. And in a more circular world, you of course you produce far less waste, but you also recycle or you reuse the waste that has been produced, and then you provide a kind of win-win for the economy and for the planet.
And talking about that, can you give us a bit of an idea about the kind of businesses that you're investing in? Give us some examples, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So we can show slide number 4, and you will see in slide number 4 that we identified 2 families of companies. First family is simply what we call the enablers. The enablers are companies that really do provide solutions for a, let's say, a better use of our resources, of our products, let's say a better uh, life cycle management of all the products that may exist. And recycling is, of course, a good example. But you have also what we call the transformers. The transformers are companies that are, let's say, plain vanilla companies, but that do improve their value chain in order to make sure that they optimize uh, all the production process in order to produce far less waste. And in case of waste production, what do we do with that? And how do we make sure that it will not, let's say, end in the nature? If you show, let's say, slide number 5, you will see that enablers can provide actually much more solutions that rather than simply or basically recycling. And I would like to stay really on this slide, if you can show it a bit longer, because of course recycling is the most obvious solution, but it's actually the last resort. It's what we do or what we hope to do in really in a last as a last chance. The main thing is most probably uh, replacing the products. For instance, you replace plastic by glass or paper, things that really produce far less pollution at a world scale. Another type of solution is simply the reuse or repurpose of the products. And you've seen this, for instance, for the smartphones. It's more and more common. You see there this everywhere. We tend to, let's say, make the life cycle of product much longer. And the longer it is, the better it is for the nature, for the economy, and for, let's say, the final user, for the client. And then, last but not least, rationalize. If you want to waste far less water, well, why not using a closed circuit? For instance, many car wash companies now are using water in a really closed circuits, and it's also the case for the energy use. Most of us do drive a car now that is able to reuse the braking energy or this kind of things. And yeah, again, recycling is really the last resource. But the good news is that, again, many companies do provide solutions at a commercial stage. They are profitable, and they generate also some cost cutting on their client side. So it's a kind of win-win-win. Win for them, win for their clients, and win for the planet.
Okay, we have a minute left, and before we kind of finish with some closing remarks, I just want to ask anybody in the room, does anybody have a question for Nicolas, who's a very experienced portfolio manager, so you can ask your questions if you wish. No? Okay, small room. So Nicolas, maybe it's time for us to finish off. But do you have any kind of closing remarks, any kind of other important elements that you want to share with the viewers on the computer and the people in the room here with me?
Well, I think that this thematic and these investments will be boosted by authorities, new regulations that are really ambitious. And I won't dive into the details, but the State of the Union that we could listen to yesterday or read this morning from the European Union is really going this way. And I think this confirms that many governments will now formalize this ambitious goal, and companies sooner or later will have to comply with it, and that's maybe a huge business driver, I would say.
Well, thank you very much, Nicolas, for sharing how Condriam, you're approaching in a very quick round some of these challenges. And I think our time is up, and it's time for the next panel. So thank you, Nicolas, and
thank you very much.
Good afternoon for everybody.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Bye-bye.